Welcome to Galaxy Manifesto. This is Yvonne. On the journey of learning love and wisdom, we're never alone. A warm welcome if this is your first time here. This is a channel where we use color perception method as a gateway to inner exploration, learning to awaken our sixth sense, dive into the subconscious, and walk the path of self-healing and greater happiness. Today, let's explore the third and fourth aspect of the energy field represented by the color combination deep red on top, red on bottom. They are the happiness and trauma imprint and psychological imbalance. The color combination of deep red on top, red on bottom symbolizes a form of happiness that arises from deep emotional wounds. The deep red represents emotional vitality that has strung inward but never extinguished, while the red stands for the courage to face reality and take action. When emotional pain is acknowledged, accepted, and transformed into creativity, relationship, or self-care, it creates a happiness imprint that says, I no longer lose myself in the pursuit of love. Instead, I become more whole because of love. This reflects a mature strength born from loss. It's the one that knows how to love and take care of oneself better. However, this color combination also reveals an unspoken trauma pattern. The deep red holds unsolved emotional memories, while the red shows efforts to express and please that were ignored. These wounds often originate from early beliefs like love is an exchange, imbalanced maternal energy, or being forced into a one-side giver role in relationships. This leads to low self-worth, emotional suppression, and a fear of intimacy. It's a painful imprint that says, the more I give, the emptier I feel. In real life, we often carry both happiness and trauma imprints. Like in a single painting, red represents both passionate love and painful scars. In the subconscious, these two imprints often intertwine. Boy noted that many inner conflicts stem from opposing emotions coexisting in the unconscious. You might simultaneously recall a parent's care and their arguments, which makes your beliefs about love and self-worth tangled and contradictory. In tarot symbolism, red stands for life, force, and desire, but can also reflect deep emotional pain. In the collective unconscious, Venus reminds us of beauty and love, but after trauma, her dual nature emerges, drawing us toward love while also fearing it. For beginners, you might imagine your inner child holding both a bouquet of flowers, which representing love and joy, and a thorny rose, which representing pain and trauma. These two emotional forces live side by side in the subconscious, shaping our hopes and fear in love. In the pairing of deep red on top and red on bottom, connected to the reversed empress, happiness and trauma imprints overlap, like a cup of tea left half drunk, still warm but with a hint of bitterness. The deep red symbolizes early emotional foundations and memories, while the red stands for the passion and love we still long to express. But when deep red presses down on red, it forms a common psychological pattern. I still want to love, but I'm afraid of reliving the story where I loved too deeply and got hurt or ignored. Psychology's Bessel van der Kolk wise in the body keeps the score that traumatic experiences are stored in the body and subconscious and can trigger defensive reaction even when the current situation poses no real danger. This mirrors the state of reversed empress, outwardly calm and withdrawn, yet inwardly longing to be seen and loved. But because the trauma imprint hasn't healed, the energy of love cannot flow freely. For example, you once devoted yourself entirely to a relationship, gave up your job, left your home, even moved far away. But the other person responds not with love, but with control or emotional neglect. That experience planted a belief deep inside. Love equals sacrifice that ends in loss. Years later, you met someone kind and trustworthy. Logically, you know they're safe. But if they go silent for a while, you are suddenly filled with anxiety. Will they turn cold too? Are they just pretending? That fear isn't about them. It's your old trauma imprint being activated. And yet, your happiness imprint is still alive too. Maybe it came from a moment when someone bought you a hot soup while you were sick, or a childhood memory of your mom gently tucking you in at night. These memories form the roots of your belief in love, the reason you still hold hope for relationships that can truly hold and honor you. This color combination reminds us if you often feel a push-pull dynamic in love, wanting to get close but then pulling away, don't blame yourself. It may be that your subconscious carrying deep red wounds. It's simply trying to protect you. It's not that you're unlovable, it's that you were once loved in the wrong way. But when you bravely begin to acknowledge these imprints and slowly learn to trust and express yourself in new relationships, the passion of red can be rekindled. And this time will be in a way that's more grounded and more real. The color combinations of deep red on top and red on bottom symbolize a rupture and suppression of emotional and creative energy. It reflects a psychological dilemma where love cannot flow freely. Deep red holds suppressed memory related to motherhood, relationship, and self-worth, while red attempts to express but struggle to be received. This creates patterns of psychological obstacles such as borderline personality traits, anxious attachment, alexithymia, which is difficulty in expressing emotions, emotional suppression, and creativity block syndrome. Individuals with this energetic structure often fall into a cycle of giving to earn love, feeling empty inside but appearing lively on the outside. This leads to a toxic loop of relationship dependency, self-denial, and emotional avoidance. Past trauma often forms subconscious psychological block that makes us shrink back in love. The shadows deep red within may become an unscalable wall, cutting off the flow of red passion. This block can show up as fear of intimacy, emotional hypersensitivity, or avoidance of relationship. Both Foy and Jung emphasize how unresolved conflict in the subconscious are projected into real relationships, making it hard to fully accept love. For example, a child who once experienced abandonment may grow up doubting their partner's commitment. No matter how loving the partner is, they still cannot fully trust. This psychological imbalance are also closely related to our inner child and attachment patterns. A wounded inner child often unconsciously seeks safety or self-protection in relationship. Attachment theory tells us that insecure attachment styles make love more difficult. In psychology, when red is blocked, it may manifest as anxiety or anger, and this is the indicator of repressed passion. In daily life, this could look like a shy person who longs for love but shunts away from opportunities for connections. That's the subconscious defense mechanism at work. When we speak of the reverse Empress card, combined with deep red above, red below, we're actually touching on a deep psychological defense pattern. It's a rational, composed exterior, masking an anxious, unexpressed emotional interior. If this imbalance persists, it can easily manifest in subconscious blocks around intimacy. Their anxious attachment, emotional suppression, or even emotional numbness in romantic relationships. Deep red represents emotional stability and roots. When it's on top, it indicates past emotional experience are dominating. Red at the bottom, unable to express freely, reflects a desire for love that lacks freedom of expression and acceptance. This pattern is common among people who seem strong and independent on the outside but suppress much emotion within. Psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory suggests that whether our caregivers respond consistently to our emotionally in childhood shapes how we relate in adult love. If someone experienced emotional neglect or excessive control in childhood, they may develop subconscious beliefs like, I'm not lovable, or intimacy is unsafe. In romantic relationships, this often shows up as a mismatch between inner desire and outer behavior, wanting closeness, but simultaneously suppressing emotion and keeping distance. For example, You might say, I'm not in a rush for a relationship at the start of love, appearing rational and composed. But deep down, you're afraid of closeness because it once leads to pain. You secretly watch for signs your partner cares, but you're afraid to admit your needs. You might test them or pull away just to see if they'll really stay. This is the inner conflict between anxious and avoidance attachment. Research also shows that long-term emotional suppression affects brain regions related to emotion processing, such as weakened interaction between the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, making it harder to recognize and express feelings. That's why, even though you want to say, I miss you, what comes out is, I'm fine. What we can learn from the love psychology is if you often handle feelings with ambiguity, emotional tug of war, or excessive rationality, this color pairing is a message to you. You are not unwilling to be loved. You have just learned to avoid your desire. True healing doesn't come from suppressing passion, but from learning how to express it safely. Practice saying, I want to be cared for too. That's how the deep roots of red and the bright heart of red reconnect. So that love is no longer a wall that traps you, but a doorway to genuine intimacy. In our next conversation, we will dive even deeper into self awareness and personal growth. Gratitude to the universe. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share so more people can discover the spiritual intuition behind colors and their deeper meanings. See you next time. Yoo-hoo!